Hey, it's Wednesday. Welcome to the Backyard Blitz. Man, I'm so excited to talk about all the free agency stuff and kind of start to turn our attention to the draft a little bit. But I know it's been an action-packed week for you guys. Slick, I know you've been training your kids, and Drew might have a fun little announcement for us for those of us who don't know. So I can't wait to hear it all. Boys, how you doing?
What's up, BP? What up, Ricky?
What's going, man? What's going?
Been a busy week in the NFL. Been a busy week in personal life. You know, a lot of happenings. I know I teased a little announcement last week that I couldn't dwell on yet, but I can dwell on it now for those of you who were following me on Twitter and stuff like that. I told you guys I was going to be back on the sideline this year. I said it earlier this season, and I finally found myself a job. Took a head coaching job here in South Jersey at a local high school near my house. So I will be back on the sideline wearing the big whistle.
Hell yeah.
My dude. Congrats.
Yeah, I just came from a workout. We just had our second workout. We started yesterday. Wednesday nights I implemented a nighttime workout so the kids who were playing like spring sports and stuff like that could show up, because a lot of these kids are playing spring sports, so they're not able to come to the after school workout. So we do a Wednesday night workout. So I kind of drove straight through and just got done with that and wrapped up, man. We had about 35 kids. That's a little small school, man. It was good energy. Had the music going. I'm getting my my coaching voice back. So if I start squeaking a little bit, you guys know why, man. But it feels good to be back, and I'm excited to.
That's awesome, man. I thought you looked a little sweaty there, so I knew that you were.
I do. This ain't hair gel. This is pure sweat and grease from the cheesesteak I had on the way home, real quick. But
nice. That's awesome, man. Well, hey, congrats. Obviously, we're really excited for you. We got another team to follow on the show.
Yeah, man.
We got Slick's team. We got
Gateway Gators, baby.
Yours. Gateway Gators. I love it. That's awesome. Slick, man, what's going on with you, dude? What's going on with your kids, with your program? Tell us a little bit about it.
Same old. We getting a little bit in depth as far as the high school team goes. We're getting a little bit more in depth with install. And as far as Rise goes, we had a training today. We're getting ready to go to Chicago Friday morning for a tournament. And while we're
where you guys going?
Chicago. I think we're gonna, if I'm not mistaken, while we're there, I think we're gonna visit Northwestern too.
You're going all the way to Chicago?
Yeah, we travel, man. We got to get these kids experience.
You're gonna meet Larry. Man. You're gonna meet Larry out there. Larry, you gotta go recruit some of them kids for your team.
Gotta
right. They could use the help,
man. They need to see it. They need to see it.
That's good, man. That's crazy.
Cool.
They're going all over. You guys are going all over the country. You guys fundraise for that, or how's that work?
I was gonna ask the same thing. Like, how does that work?
Stuff, man?
Yeah,
fundraise. Actually they don't. We do charge them. You know what I'm saying? We do charge.
Yeah, sure.
A fee, but
it's
also
a business.
It's
a business.
I mean, we do fundraise as well. Just being in partnership with people, giving donations, whatever the case may be.
Sure.
We just make it happen. Make it happen how we make it happen, man.
That's awesome, man. That's pretty cool. Well, you're gonna have to keep us up to date with what's going on with your trip next week. Maybe take some pictures or whatever we can bring on the show.
Man, I'll tell you, with the three of us, we got a lot going on. BP starting a new job.
Man,
Ricky going all over the country.
Yeah.
Drew back on the sidelines wearing a big whistle.
I know, it's pretty cool.
On. We're missing one.
I know. I can't wait to see when the prophet comes back. I mean, I never know when he's going to just pop in and.
What?
Oh, wait a second.
Guys, man. Oh, hey, what's happening? I'm sorry. I heard a lot of commotion outside. I thought maybe it was the guys in the white suits, man. I just had a breakout at a freaking psych ward this afternoon. Oh my gosh, I'm
a
so
straight
all
jacket?
I'm all discombobulated, man. I got a story to tell you so right off the get go. Our older viewers will enjoy this. Some of the hipper younger ones will, but I was going to get results of my test on Monday, and it's 75 degrees here in Tennessee. Beautiful sunny day. I'm pulling my best Brad Wesley, gig from Roadhouse, man. I'm driving down the highway in my 87 Mustang GT ragtop. Air's hitting me. Freaking 5-man electrical bag comes on the radio. And for the guys that don't know, Signs was the name of the song.
Oh,
yeah. And so I'm going crazy, man. I'm in and out of traffic. I'm singing at the top of my lungs, man. And I get to the hospital where my doctor's at, and I'm bleeding profusely from the throat. And I go in and I tell the doc what happened, and he takes care of my throat. And the next thing I know, there's guys coming in to take me to the freaking psych ward. I said, what's the matter? Do you like the Tesla version better? Like what? And he says, anybody that does something like that to themselves is crazy. I'm like, I'm not crazy. I was just into it, And needless to say, even if we get cremated together, I'm never going to warm up to this guy. But
oh boy.
Anyhow, man, it's great to be back around the table with you guys. I was wondering whether it was ever going to happen or not, and
I
yeah.
am so glad that you're back.
Yeah.
I'm super pumped that you're back.
to have you back,
It's absolutely. It's good. I'm glad that you escaped the psych ward.
Well,
I had no
keep-
idea what Tony Three Thumbs was going to do. I have no idea what that.
I haven't-
Maybe you just had a good not to.
I haven't talked to them in a little while, because I hadn't need their services, and also, I'm kind of on my own here tonight. That's why,
better Hey, you
not-
better take that bracelet off, because I think they have trackers in that bracelet.
Oh,
yeah, maybe they do. Okay, well, there, it's gone.
It's still
You know what? I
tracking
should
your house,
probably
though.
take this thing. Hold on a second.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Ah.
Dollar bills out. Oh, never-
Okay, man.
All right.
OG is back in
Woo,
full
I'm
effect.
man.
Man.
Back and
Welcome
ready to
back.
roll.
Yes,
Welcome
sir.
back.
Back.
OG
Man.
is back in full effect.
Clean
Hey,
bill of
PP,
health,
let me
we're
be
good.
serious here for a second, okay?
You got it. You got it.
Considering, and nobody knows, everybody knows something was going on, nobody knows what, but considering, what happened with my father, the late great Prophet Senior, and the fact that I smoked 2 packs of Marlboro Reds and 1 pack of Willie Golds for the last 40 years. Yeah, I was a little concerned. I had some shit going on, some stuff going on with my throat.
You already said it.
But I'm happy to say that all biopsies came back benign, and I have nothing to worry about moving forward for the time being anyhow.
there we
So,
go. That's what's
Yeah.
up. Congratulations, man. I know
Good, man.
we've been texting and stuff like that, and I've been concerned. I know all of us were, kind of sending out positive vibes and just kind of waiting to see how it's going, and that's obviously the best news that could happen. So glad you're back, glad you're healthy, and we have a nice long run with this, Prophet.
Yes, sir.
well, the power of positivity, the grace of God, prayers, and from my family and friends, and I've been watching the shows sometimes on Wednesday night, sometimes I'm watching it afterwards, and just seeing all the comments from the Blitz Nation. Everybody's been great, and this was a team effort getting me through this, and I can't thank everybody enough.
That's awesome, man. Well, yeah, your family, you're here. You're part of the Blitz Nation, part of the family. We love to hear that great news. So it's the first time. Anything that comes back negative when it comes to a biopsy is always a positive. So it's
sir.
as Larry's pointing out here in the comments. So
Absolutely.
that's fantastic. Well, while you were taking care of yourself and making sure you're healthy. I know that you had your ear to the ground. I know that there's nothing that's getting by the profit when it comes to all these free agent acquisitions. So I'm excited to talk about that wave one of free agency, the winners and losers, right? So there was a big buildup for free agency. Then it was, players coming off the board. And now it looks like, it's kind of slowed down, that everything's kind of pointing towards the draft now before some of these bigger names are going to get signed. So I'm excited that we can talk about the first wave of free agency and the winners and losers. So I know that you're prepared. I know that you're ready. And I'm excited to talk about it. So Drew, I know that you've been studying up all night. You've been ready. You've been
studying
ready
up. I got a midterm that I'm in the middle of right now. 8 pages on dodgeball. How do you write 8 pages on dodgeball? I mean, man, becoming a phys ed teacher isn't easy. You got to worry about.
Did you watch the movie?
What is that?
It's dodge,
dive,
duck, dip,
and
dive,
dodge.
and dodge. Right? Yeah.
Dodge, yeah.
It ain't easy studying all these rules of dodgeball, but as far as free agency goes, maybe not so much studying as I should have done. So we'll swing it to somebody else to start us off here.
Yeah, I had to. Drew, you always give me so much crap. I had to throw it to you first.
Yeah.
Well, let's start it off with Slick. Slick, who's your winner of free agency as far as that first wave? What team do you think got dramatically better over the last couple weeks with their additions?
I would have to say the Bears. I think the Bears.
The Bears.
Bears.
Stop, Bears.
I mean,
Bears.
For me, I don't know exactly like from the first guy to all the way to the end who they got, but the fact of what they had and didn't have last year, the fact that they had the biggest cap space or whatever the case may be, the most money, they actually spent it on some stuff like they should have. They didn't spend it on like a long snapper and a extra point holder and a place kicker, and like they actually spent some money to get Jeffrey some help.
Yeah, got Field some help. They got they got some receivers now, right? They traded down in the draft and got a boatload of picks for it. So overall,
to see what they're going to do with that pick.
Yeah, exactly. So wherever they started, free agency with, they made that trade. They made some acquisitions. Their defense seems to be getting better. Their offense seems to be getting better. So overall, I do like that. How they've been, with their free agent acquisitions and how they've been maneuvering with that top pick. So
still got to put it together, though. They still have to put it together.
And that's the whole thing about the offseason, right? Like you can have all these pieces of the puzzle, but it doesn't always equate to wins. What was it? The Philadelphia Eagles had they signed all these free agents. What was this, like 10 years ago? Yeah. And Vince Young went out there and said, "Hey, this is like the dream team." And then they went out and I don't think they even made the playoffs.
I forgot Vince Young was on the Eagles.
Yeah. It was like the McRib at McDonald's.
Wait, only a short amount of time.
Hold on. I said we don't have anything to argue about during free agency. What is the problem that you have with the McRib?
I knew that you were going to get Drew's attention as soon as
you said
McRib.
I love the McRib. I thought you were trying to say that it's bad.
No, I was saying as if it was for a limited time. McDonald's down here, I don't know about where you are, but in Florida, they don't sell it throughout the year.
It's gone forever. They don't sell it throughout the year. The last time they brought it back, like a couple months ago, is the last time they're having it, which I'm upset about because I enjoy that nice.
You remember?
There's a shortage on kangaroos in Australia. That's why they can't sell it anymore. So
tell you what, that McRib with that little slab of pork and slather it in barbecue sauce with a couple pickles and some onions, man. There ain't nothing better.
I don't know if that's pork. I don't know.
That barbecue sauce was covering what it actually was.
I don't even know if it is really a McRib. You could probably call it a Mc something else.
Right.
I'm not gonna lie though, McRib with a large fry was good.
So, if anybody ever talks mess on the McRib, I got a problem with them.
No, I wasn't talking bad about it. I was just saying it's for a limited time. That's how.
Oh, and I guess you get a Shamrock Shake with it too, right, Slinger?
Well, yeah, a couple too many Shamrock Shakes, but I am a fan of those. Although they have kind of.
I heard they were good. I haven't tasted one yet.
Yeah, I like them a lot in my younger days, but not so much anymore.
McDonald's was just different in the younger days. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like it's different.
Big time.
We
were talking about it at work. Like, and I would talk about it with a couple of the older guys at work. Like, they're like, probably Prophet's age or a little bit older, and they're like,
God, he called him
McDonald's
old.
used to be.
We just get him
like,
back. We just get him back.
Yeah, I'm out of here.
Fast food used to be like a delicacy when they were kids. Like, you didn't get fast food all the time. Like, fast food was a treat. Like, maybe after a ball game or something like that. It's something you get every now and then. Now it's like you live on it. We get fast. We eat out more than we eat in. It's crazy. Like, and not for nothing. It's probably a little bit cheaper, honestly. But dude, we're eating every night something different. It's crazy because I guess growing up, it was more of a treat, than something that you rely on. But it's the world we live in, dude. Sports, time.
I tell you,
we got podcasts to do. I ain't got time to cook a meal on a Wednesday night. You kidding me?
I tell you what, man. I cooked a nice steak dinner tonight. I'm proud of it. But I will tell you, I have some really great memories of my mother ordering me and my sister some McDonald's. We'd be sitting there in the back, and through those intercoms, the old school intercoms, you just couldn't hear. Like, they would have the full-on order. I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I'll never forget my mom getting super passive aggressive. I'll have a number. Like, it's just like, man, I guess this is how adults act. All right, we'll get back to free agency.
We can talk about fast food all night if you want.
I'll tell you what, man.
I'm a big Taco Bell fan, man.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, let's go.
Prophet, winner of free agency for you. Who do you think came out on top and as far as really improved their team over the last couple of weeks?
Well, I ended up going with the Carolina Panthers. Yeah. I mean, they traded up. They got the number 1 pick in the draft now. Based on the fact that they picked up Andy Dalton, I think that means they're probably going to be going after Bryce Young, and they may give him some time to adjust to the leg. They lost Deontay Foreman, but they gained Miles Sanders.
Yeah,
that's a big pickup. Huge pickup.
Especially after losing McCaffrey, right? When they lost McCaffrey last year.
I was surprised.
In that trade.
I'm still surprised that the Eagles I don't know. I guess they had to. But
I'm surprised with some of these guys that the Eagles have just let walk. And there's one that I'm going to bring up here shortly. But
that's a great pickup for the Panthers.
Yeah,
absolutely.
They lost DJ Moore, who some think he's a 1. I actually think he's a 2. And they picked up
a lot.
They picked up Adam Thielen in his place, but he's not. Adam Thielen is definitely not as good as DJ Moore at this stage of his career.
But speaking of Thielen, did you hear?
Option though.
Did you hear what he said about when he joined the Panthers? He said that he wanted to join a team that he felt could vie for a Super Bowl, and he said that he feels like the Carolina Panthers are one of those teams. Do you feel like they're obviously your winner, but do you think that they're in that conversation right now, or do you think Mr. Thielen ought to pump the brakes and go to the physician?
Well, I think he should have signed for 3 or 4 years instead of 2 if he was hoping to get to the Super Bowl with Carolina. But yeah, certainly not this year. I mean, they've got a good defense. They don't have anything on the outside, for whoever is slinging the ball to throw to right now. They've got Adam Thielen. They did pick up Hayden Hurst, which, was,
nice
he's probably a mid-tier, tight end. I personally think DJ Shark is still sitting out there in free agency. I think they should sign him. With their second round pick, I think at Kashan Booty or
you just wanted to say that word.
Yeah, the booty call. Or what the heck's his name from the kid from Tennessee, Hyatt. I think either one of them two are going to be out there and available in the second round for them if they decide to go that way, and that would strengthen their receiving core for sure. And because no matter who they pick up, whether it be Young or Stroud, they got to give them somebody to throw the ball to, or we're looking at another Lamar Jackson situation. But overall, for all the losses, like they lost Darnold and P.J. Walker, they didn't want them back. I mean, the guys that they lost, they didn't want. So they didn't get hurt at all in their losses, I don't think. And they did fairly well on the pickup side.
Yeah, and Frank Reich's the guy now, right down there. And, I mean, really, this is his, second go around as a head coach. He got fired as the Colts head coach. So I'm curious to see how he does. But overall, it seems like they're bringing in some good talent, that they seem to have a plan for that number 1 pick. And they've also mentioned that they potentially might move down in the draft. I think that's probably to get those phone lines going where they can get an offer where you just can't refuse.
Right.
But
Well, they need to maybe to make up for some of them draft picks that they gave away.
But, here's some food for thought too. Everybody's talking about the top quarterbacks. A name you don't hear mentioned because the guy got hurt at the end of the season last year is Hooker. And
what'd you call me? Oh
no! I said
got it.
I called you Booker. But if they're going to feel comfortable with Andy Dalton for 6-8 weeks, they could go after Hooker down lower. Because Hooker ain't going to go in the top.
Kid from Tennessee.
Tennessee quarterback.
And I'll tell you what, if he didn't get hurt, I honestly think, and it's not because I'm biased, but it's because I've seen him play 10 games this past year. That kid can play ball. I mean, he's a hell of a quarterback. He's probably.
I think the only thing that's really a knock on him right now is that it seems to be, and I never want to say that it absolutely is, but it seems to be a pretty strong quarterback class. So he's got some really strong quarterbacks in front of him. I think if it was last year, he might be the first quarterback taken if it lined up that way.
I'll tell you what, I agree with you with the strong class, but I disagree with you in the respect that had he not blown his knee out, I think he would have been the top 1 or 2 quarterbacks this year.
Kidding. Over Bryce Young, over Stroud.
Over Bryce Young, but I think over Stroud.
Over Stroud.
When he got hurt, he had numbers to where he was. They were talking about being the Heisman guy for real.
Yeah. I mean, he's a hell of a quarterback.
What was that upset that they had this year? Was it
Bama?
That's right. It was against Bama. That's why.
Yeah.
He had a hell of a game in that one too. Is that when he got hurt at the end in that game?
No, he got hurt the following week.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, and Hyatt had 5 touchdowns that game. Receiving against Bama. Both of the guys that I mentioned, Hyatt and the booty call. I mean, they're both playing against some of the top cornerbacks in the SEC in the country, and putting up big numbers. So, that's a plus for them.
Yeah, no, I like it. Yemo's bringing up right here that Hooker will be 26 next year. I don't think that's
Yemo?
I don't think that's really a knock on him though, because sometimes I really think that a more mature mind getting into some of those NFL, locker rooms, those NFL meeting rooms, I think that kind of helps. I mean, when you see a guy, and I'll just bring up one from the Niners, Trey Lance, he's super young. I think he was 21 years old when he got drafted. He's 23 now, but he's still maturing. Like, there's still a process.
How many times do you see these QBs get drafted and they're just not ready from a maturity standpoint? Yeah. I use this quote when I'm coaching my teams. I said, you need 3 things to be able to play for me. You need to be able to you need to be ready to play physically, you need to be ready to play mentally, and you need to be ready to play emotionally. All right? The same thing goes for the NFL. If you don't have those 3 things, you can be the best quarterback, you can have the best arm in the world and be a total head case. You're not ready to go.
We've seen it, right? We've seen it from guys. Look at Zach Wilson. You don't have to look far for a guy.
Zach Wilson. Right. So, go back. Look at Manziel. Manziel wasn't ready for the league. Like, it happens all the time where these kids, think back to yourselves when you were 21 years old. Were you ready to be the the face of an NFL franchise?
No.
From a maturity standpoint, I know I wasn't. I was still waking up at friggin' 4 o'clock because I had too many mind erasers the night before. Like, how's that? These kids ain't much different. And look at who's the dude from Georgia, the QB.
Oh, Stetson Bennett.
Bennett. He's getting in trouble in bars still.
Yeah,
and he's preparing for the biggest day of his life with the NFL draft. These guys can't keep themselves out of trouble. So from a maturity standpoint, I got no problem with a guy coming in who's 25, 26 years old because he's past that point of his life, or at least you hope he is.
And let's face it, in this day and age, I mean, you saw Brady play till 44.
Well, the way the rules are going, right, they're really protecting these quarterbacks, so they're
Right.
not taking those hits.
I mean, hell,
Unless you're
Rodgers is 39 this year, right? And he's going to be getting.
Well, he's
if
having to
they-
go to dark caves, and he's having to do a whole bunch of
Well,
stuff to kind of.
Well, yeah, he acts like he's 21 sometimes still, but I mean, 39. So even at 26, if you got it, you could potentially have a guy for 12, 13 years, at that position. And
I like that. Yeah. So we're going to talk extensively about those quarterbacks here in a little bit. At least the top 5 guys. I got Hooker at 6, but that's really great insight. And I do think that the Panthers, with where they're at, if they trade down, they might be able to. If they really like him, they might be able to pick him up and get a really good player early on. In the first round, because who knows where Hooker will go, if it'll be actually in the first round or even in the second round. But guys, I can't wait to tell you guys about my winner. I'm chomping at the bit here because we never really get to talk about this team. We talked to about them at the tail end of last year, but it's the Detroit Lions. I think they've actually have hit a home run in free agency so far. They did lose Jamal Williams, but they bring in David Montgomery from the Bears. They shore up their secondary by signing in Emmanuel Mosley. And then I did not think that this guy was going to go anywhere else other than the Eagles. And they signed CJ Gardner-Johnson, which is one of the top safeties in the league and one of the more coveted players. I just really like what Campbell has going on there and what they're bringing in. Rodgers seems to be he's going to be leaving that NFC North, and it's going to be up for grabs. And they are tooling themselves to be able to not only compete for the division, but a playoff run in in January and potentially February, which Detroit has not been able to celebrate that in a long, long time. So I like what they're doing so far. I'm excited to see what they do in the draft, but I love their coach. The guys that they bring in are really good guys, and the Detroit Lions guys, like, when's the last time we've gotten excited about the Detroit freaking Lions other than, watching them on Hard Knocks and seeing if that was going to be a shit show or not?
Barry Sanders.
I was just going to say that.
I think there was a couple times
Wow.
this year. There was a couple times this year I was intrigued by them, but they kind of planed off, regression to the mean. I like to call it. Everything goes back to the middle, but
Well, the nice thing is
I
that
don't
they
think it's been a
realized
while.
their weakness was on defense, and they attacked that and attack it in the draft.
Yeah, I think so too. I absolutely think so. They, when it got to that game in Week 18 in Green Bay, I really think that was a pivotal game, not just for right then in the moment, but I think that was like, it was like, hey, we're here and we're gonna be here for a little bit. We're not gonna take this stuff from Green Bay anymore. We're not gonna take them just. Oh, Green Bay's got the division, and the hell with the Vikings too, by the way, because they're competing for a playoff spot. They went into Lambeau. They knocked Green Bay out of the playoffs before it even started with the game that Green Bay needed to have, and this is the way they're starting their offseason. I think if you're in Detroit, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, and you can't wait till September right now. Like, you got to be pumped. Drew, looking at you, man. We went through a whole bunch.
I
of
said
stuff.
I wanted to go last,
here.
but now I said I wanted to go last. Maybe I should have went first because it's tough to follow you guys after all your in-depth analysis here. And I'm clicking through and I'm doing my research here, studying very hard in between the dodgeball lessons that I'm learning. And I got a couple of teams here that are standing out to me. I was looking at the Miami Dolphins. I think we talked about it last week. The Dolphins are making all the necessary moves I think that they need to make, and we said that if they don't get it done this year, McDaniel has no excuses anymore. But I kind of came off of them, and I want to go back to a team that we talked about last week, and it was a hot topic, and it's kind of what we were saying is coming into fruition, is the New York Jets. All right, so I think the New York Jets have made some really good moves so far in free agency. First, specifically, the move that they made today, which I absolutely love, is picking up and signing Hardman from the Chiefs to a 1-year contract. I think, last year with him on the Chiefs, the big question was who's going to replace Tyreek Hill, and you're expecting Hardman to be that guy to step up and be that deep threat. And I think a lot of times he was electric player to watch, fun to watch. Somebody to be able to stretch the field for the Jets. I think it's a good pickup for them. They came out and they signed Alan Lazard, which you want to point to why did you do that? And everybody says, well, they know why they did it because they're prepping for Aaron Rodgers. But that's what I want to talk about. What did we say last week? Everybody's saying that he's going here. He goes on Rodgers goes on the McAfee show, says that he anticipates signing with the Jets. It hasn't happened yet.
Yeah,
he hasn't. He's going on and predicting something that he has absolutely no control over. And we're sitting here a week later, and there hasn't been much movement or much even talk about it or progressions about it. They're putting the pieces in place, to build off of last year. They were definitely more respectable than they have been in years past. If they can get Rodgers somehow, some way, I think that's the icing on the cake to put this into a great offseason for them. Right now, I'd put it at very good, to pretty good. I think they added two playmaker wide receivers, and they solidified the offensive line with a couple signings. But if they could add Rodgers to the mix, dude, I think that's all they're going to need to really make a strong run. I'm not saying Super Bowl, nothing like that, but to make a serious contender run.
Well, and look at what they did in the draft last year, right? They had a really strong draft class. They're going to bring back Breece Hall, which he's going to be healthy when the season starts, hopefully, towards ACL, right?
Yeah.
Look at all these playmakers that they're bringing on the perimeter. I mean, it just seems to be like every move that they make, it's like, all right, now we're really going to get you with the Rodgers one. Because as soon as that hits, like that shakes up that entire division. The Patriots are over there trying to figure out what's going on. You got Miami who's loading up. Buffalo, we know who they are. I'm not sure if they've gotten better or if they've gotten worse. I don't know what's going on there. So
I know they let Edmonds go, which was a key part of their defense.
What do you say in football? You either get better or you get worse. There's no staying the same, man.
That's
you said you wouldn't talk Super Bowl with them. I would. If
they sign Rodgers?
If they sign Rodgers, yeah. And I said it on the show last year. I absolutely hate the Jets and the Giants. But
you did, I remember.
I'll tell you, if Rodgers goes there and he has his head screwed on, the weapons they have on that team and the defense they have, they can be a Super Bowl contender next year. Because you're not getting a young quarterback who's never done it before and saying, oh, well, he's going to have to experience the playoffs a little bit first and all, Rodgers has been there. Rodgers knows what it takes to get to the Super Bowl, and he's got the weapons around him. I don't think he's ever had a receiving core like he would have in New York, in Green Bay.
I think that Super Bowl year they had what, Donald Driver, they had Greg Jennings.
Freeman.
No, he's had really good individual receivers, but not as a group. Right.
Well, and
he had Devontae Adams.
Right. Yeah, Devontae Adams. I'll put it together. Yeah,
put it all together.
This is a little tidbit that I really like that I didn't think about until just now with Rodgers. You think about that NFC East or AFC East. You go to Gillette Stadium in late in the year. It's cold, snowy, windy, whatever. Right. Same thing in Buffalo. Maybe even in New York. Right. Well, guess where he's coming from?
Right.
He's used to that in Green Bay. So like he's going to be playing and he's used to that stuff. So I think that's massive. I like that.
They call him the Snowman. I don't know if it's because
it ain't because of the stuff that falls. It's the stuff that goes up.
He seems more of a downer kind of guy.
He looks like a snowman now with that baggy hair. And
I'll tell you what, he's cleaned himself up. I don't know.
Whoa.
Well, it can't all be flowers and all that stuff for some of these teams. There's some teams that absolutely I feel like have done a miserable job in free agency. Either they've done nothing or they've lost a bunch of players. So who's your guys as losers when it comes to free agency? And we'll go back around to, let's start with Slick here.
The Baltimore Ravens.
Ooh, tell us why, Slick.
Yeah,
I know you got something on your mind.
Please.
You got something on your mind. I know you do.
I could be wrong. I still have not came up with the deal with Lamar Jackson. Number one.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing right there, right?
That's the biggest thing. Number two, they haven't. The only moves that I've really heard of is the 1 year signing of what's the backup?
Huntley.
Huntley,
That's the only like move I've really heard. I mean, they could have made other moves, but it's nothing really like major.
Well, and they
That's
let
big
Calais
news,
Campbell,
man.
right? Calais Campbell was released,
Yeah,
and he was a big
Campbell
part
go.
of their
I
defensive
mean,
line.
yeah, he's
gone.
an old head, but still, like, he was a key part of what they did on the defensive line. Like, I don't know. I don't know what they plan on doing, if they're trying to do anything next year. Like, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, their
Makes me scratch my
top
head.
receivers are still unsigned. Yeah,
Marcus
they're still
Peters
free
is
agents.
too, right? Like he's still
Who
a
is?
free agent. Marcus Peters.
Man, the DB, yeah.
Yeah,
Marcus
Peters
a
is.
free agent. Yep.
Uh,
There are rumors picking up that teams are interested in
Lamar.
Jackson in Lamar. I mean, that's the most I've heard about it. I'd say in the past day or two that there's a couple teams interested in possibly offering him a contract. So we'll see. I mean, if it comes to it, is he just ready to say screw it with the Ravens and then go with the first bidder? But
What I'm interested in is if they don't get a deal done. I mean, they got that non-exclusive franchise tag, but let's say this carries on into camp. Like, does he show up to camp? Like, does this become a distraction for them throughout, getting close to the season?
He won't
That
show
would
up to
be
camp.
the longer this goes, the worse it gets. In
He'll
my
be in
opinion,
South Florida training.
you don't think he shows up to camp? I don't know, man. When it comes to losing money, guys don't like to lose money. So
But
sometimes you just got to grin and bear it and get through. And
But if he
and do what
doesn't
you
show up
gotta
to
do.
camp, what money is he losing?
well, I'm sure that they start implementing their fines and stuff like that for not showing up because technically he is under contract.
I mean,
Yeah.
where's
know.
Baltimore picked? Select, do you know this year?
nah.
They're in Maryland, Prophet.
They're in Maryland, like
Yeah.
right outside of Baltimore.
Yeah,
Let me take a look.
Well,
here.
Yeah, they're actually in Owens Mills.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, there's a good crab shack there.
Crab cakes and football. They do not have.
They don't have a first.
I don't think they have a first round pick here.
They don't.
What?
Okay, so
Oh no,
so
they do.
guess what?
22nd overall. Sorry, 22nd overall.
22nd.
Yeah.
So if the Texans are to offer him $50 million, Baltimore will match it. Trust
Really?
me when I tell you, because unless they are able to trade up with the 22nd pick, they are not going to get a quarterback. And if they lose Lamar Jackson, they've got Tyrone Huntley. And Huntley showed 2 years ago when Jackson got hurt, Huntley looked pretty good.
They had a
Last
5
year,
touchdown game, I think, a couple of years ago.
yeah,
He's-
last year not so much. I can't imagine the Ravens are going to be, going into the season feeling good with Tyrone Huntley as their quarterback.
No.
Or Tyler Huntley, not Tyrone, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
You can call on Tyrone. I don't know. Friday's in my head.
That one.
So whatever he gets offered,
Slick got it.
Ravens will match it.
I hope so. I just can't envision him being in a place outside of Baltimore where the offense is just built for him. Like maybe Atlanta was the only one that I could think of, but it seems like they're going to go on and.
How about those
draft or
Eagles
whatever.
signing Mariota?
Oh yeah,
They
got him.
finally got him.
Wow.
10 years later, Chip Kelly got his guy.
Well, Prophet, who's your loser of free agency?
My loser is the Washington Redskins.
Commanders now. It's okay.
Commanders.
Oh,
Profit.
what, did we go woke since I've been gone on this show?
Oh, my goodness.
Come on.
Oh, here we
My gosh.
We went-
They've
Okay.
only changed their name, what, 3
go.
times
We went a
in 5
month
years?
without getting canceled, Profit.
Yeah, I know.
Don't break our
Washington
truth.
Redskins.
I mean, I looked them over today, and I'm like, what have they done? They let Heineken go, who well, yeah, he was from the Canadian League. Who they were saying, they were saying last year that he's going to be their future, and that didn't come into fruition. they pick up Jacoby Brissett, and they got Sam Howell. And from what I'm reading, that's what they're looking at going into this season with. I don't know. They lost their best linebacker. They picked up a linebacker who's half as good. Yeah. They
signed
just
Deron Payne, but to a huge contract, right? Being able to, they franchise tagged him and then they signed him. But overall, I mean, when you look over at the Washington Commanders, there's a lot of stuff that is going on in the front office where they're looking at Dan Schneider has cleared out his office. They're looking at, bidders for who's going to be the owner of the team, and not to mention that, like, who's their quarterback again? Like you mentioned, is it Brissett?
Sam Howell?
It's not Wentz. Sam Howell. That's
Sam
who
Howell.
they were going to go with.
That's
okay.
who they're looking at.
Did you guys see that there's some Canadian firm interested in buying the franchise? I saw that news break today. Yeah.
They did pick up Andrew Wiley. That was a good pickup for their O line, but I mean, who the hell is he going to be protecting?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They have weapons on the outside, and I feel like that they have some good running backs, and I feel like they have a halfway decent defense. But when you don't have a guy at the quarterback position right there, they did that experiment with Wentz. That obviously hasn't worked out, and we'll see what happens with
Wentz
Sam
hasn't
Howell,
worked out for anybody.
No.
Yeah, I mean, they've experienced bad quarterback play the past couple of years, and it's
Quite
like
some time.
Come on. And they draft 16th this year, so again, if they're not able to move up, it's not like they're going to get, a top flight quarterback.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, my loser.
Who's your loser?
Yemo's not going to like this. I'm going to bring up his. It's over here. It's the Philadelphia Eagles.
Let's bury this because I forgot who your loser was, but if it wasn't going to be them, mine was going to be them.
Yeah, it's the Eagles.
Quote here, Yemo.
Now listen, this is coming from. I remember saying this back in 2015 with the 49ers. That's not bad when Patrick Willis retires and Chris Borland retires and all these guys leave. It is that bad. When you lose these type of players, it is that bad. When you lose a player like Hargrave, when you lose CJ, when you lose the type of players they have, Miles Sanders, they just let walk. Okay. They were there because of their defense last year. They were one of the best defenses in the league. I think they have 80 some odd sacks going into the Super Bowl. So overall, my thing is, yes, you can build in the draft, but the draft isn't like you're not guaranteed to hit those picks ever. You're not guaranteed to hit those picks. So when you lose veteran experience that they just got deep in the playoffs with, and these guys are choosing to go elsewhere too. Let's remember that they're choosing to go elsewhere, and I think
Gardner
that says
Johnson's
something.
Burying the fan base on Twitter.
Absolutely,
absolutely burying Eagles fans on social media.
Yeah, and so I mean, when you lose a Miles Sanders and you replace him with a Rashad Penny, like first of all, do we even know if Rashad Penny is going to be healthy?
That's what I was
like, Rashad Penny had 300 and something rushing yards this past year, and then 2 years ago when he was healthy, had like 700.
But isn't he coming back off knee surgery or something?
Yeah,
ACL or something,
something like that, or a hip.
Yeah.
Was it a hip, maybe?
Something he messed up that he didn't finish the season.
See, but if he's healthy, Rashad Penny, if he's healthy, he can actually help the Eagles because and this is why losing Miles Sanders isn't as big a deal as everybody's saying it is, because they do that rotation in the backfield. So Miles Sanders,
over 1,000 yards rushing this year.
I know, but Miles Sanders may have been the main guy, but he's not the guy per se. Because they're putting in Gainwell, they're putting Scott in. Miles Sanders sits on the bench a lot. I mean, he's a great running back. I'm not saying he's not.
We're talking about a 1,000-yard rusher that you're trying to replace, and not only that, but also in the passing game, I felt like Miles Sanders is a really good player out of the backfield when it comes to the screen game, when it comes to being Jalen Hurts be able to dump it off to him if something isn't available down the field. And I just think Rashad Penny's not going to bring that for you. So.
No, for sure. But they are very high on Gainwell. And they think Gainwell can take Sanders' spot.
Yeah.
We'll know next year whether or not they were right.
My biggest thing is when you let talent walk out the door, you're not guaranteed to replace that same talent.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it takes more players. It takes the scheme and things like that. And where they were so good on defense last year, getting to the quarterback, I think it's a big thing when you lose your safeties. They lost both of their starting safeties. They lost, a really good interior defensive lineman. Yeah, they have some young guys, but we have to see it. And that's the whole part of the offseason is like, when you have a lot more questions than you have answers, well, I got to see you answer those questions. And right now, when you lose that talent, I got nothing but questions right now. Can they be at the level that they were last year? Because it's not going to be easy for them. They got a target on their back this year. They didn't have a target on their back, until about midway through the season last year, where they're like, okay, the Eagles, they're going to be in it, right? So,
Well, they certainly aren't going to be where they were last year through the draft, and not through free agency either, because they're not getting the guys that they lost, the talent, the level of talent that they lost.
Trust me, it pains me to agree with Brandon as much as I have right now, but he made a good point. These guys are leaving willingly. Yeah. These guys, they have the ability to re-sign some of them, but these guys are walking. And I just think when we said it earlier, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. The Eagles are getting worse.
Well,
they're not replacing, like you said, Prophet. You're not replacing guys you lost through the draft.
You're losing starters,
and you're not signing the guys. So where is it going to come from?
Right.
And then I read, a situation like Gardner. I mean, Gardner's agent screwed him.
He had a much better offer with Philadelphia earlier, right? Yeah.
The Eagles offered him $8 million a year, I think it was, and he signed for $4 million.
Yeah.
Or whatever it was, he signed for almost half of what the hell the Eagles offered him, because his agent said, no, you'll get more as a free agent, and he's playing for a lot less money now. I mean, good for Detroit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's great for Detroit, and it's good for, it's a 1-year deal for him, but I know, my neighbor, he's a huge Eagles fan, and he was like, okay, well, we're going to lose these guys, but as long as we get CJ back, it's going to be okay. And we're going to lose them, but because we're going to be able to pay CJ. Well, then he leaves, and I'm like, man. And then all that stuff with Darius Slay that happened. He's going to get released. Oh, but wait, now it was almost like a panic, right?
Yeah, you guys didn't believe me last week when I said he didn't get released. You're like, they released him this morning.
Oh, yeah, because it was like earlier. I was like, okay, for sure. And then, right, like I guess right before the show, you saw that, and I was like, wow, I was surprised because that never happens, right? Like when the player says I'm released, like he's gone. Like he's already gone. He's already got his bag packed, but we'll see. So, Drew, who you got, man? Who's your loser?
So, I was between two, and the Eagles were the other one. So, my other loser is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I was going to pick them.
I just think that they're having a pathetic offseason, and I don't know what their goals are for next year. I don't know. Tom Brady retires. Like, are they just packing it in and say, all right, we got to restart this thing? Yep. You go out and you try and replace the greatest quarterback of all time with Baker Mayfield. But I just don't see how that's going to work out for them, given his track record. You ever see
Horrible Bosses? Like the first one? You remember what's the one where Donald Sutherland, he's an owner of this company, and then he dies, and then they have to give it to like the cokehead son, and the company goes downhill. That's what I feel like. You had a really good owner. You had Tom Brady there. You could bring in all these guys. Now he's gone. And it's like, well, who do we got? Oh, Baker Mayfield.
Yeah. So the company. They haven't been making that the splash in the free agent market. I don't think. They signed David, linebacker, who's pretty good, but I think his best days might be behind him. But and
they brought back
you're not
Dean, right? Didn't they bring back Dean as well?
Terrible.
Who?
Their corner.
Exactly. Say it again, Drew. Yeah, right. Say it again. Who?
And then you're not drafted until the middle of the draft, so it ain't like.
Who?
I mean, you're drafted 19 unless you make a move a splash for either a quarterback. I don't know how sold they are on Trask. I know early they were high on him, but I don't think they're too high on him right now. So it'll be interesting to see. But for a team to go from the top of the mountain to the bottom of the mountain so quickly, you don't see it very often. And I think the Buccaneers aren't really helping themselves this offseason.
Well, they have weapons too. They have weapons. They They still had a somewhat of a defense there. My biggest thing is the quarterback position. That's why they went and got Brady to begin with, because they felt like they were close. They moved on from Winston. They went to Brady, and now it's like, well, I don't even know, what to do at the quarterback. Baker Mayfield, let's go with him. We'll see, but I think it's a bad move for Baker, because I think he's going to be behind a worse offensive line than he was in Cleveland and even in LA at the end. Like they had no offensive line back then, so that's going to be crazy.
My sources are telling me that they're hoping that Levi is available when they draft. And if that be the case, then that's telling you right there, Baker Mayfield's still fairly young. If he was good, he has a lot of good years ahead of him.
Yeah,
but if they're going to be looking to draft a quarterback, they're not high on Baker.
Yeah,
So
they signed for a year.
Yeah.
But he's not a quarterback that can mentor though, Slick.
He's not.
It's like it just doesn't make any sense, that move.
By the way, how fast does the NFL come at you? You know what I mean? I mean, Baker, Heisman Trophy winner, first overall pick, and then just a few years later, he's a league journeyman. He's played three teams in 2 years.
In a year.
Yeah, in a year. That's crazy to me. Well, let's move on from free agency. Let's kind of cover a couple trade updates here. So we had Elijah Moore from the New York Jets get traded to the Cleveland Browns today. Cleveland sending a second rounder for Elijah Moore, and the Jets are sending a third, which, by the way, wasn't Elijah Moore a second round pick to begin with? So basically they just get a second rounder for him there. And then things are starting to heat up in the DeAndre Hopkins world. There's been a lot more buzz. It sounds like that's going to happen sooner than later. One team I'm hearing is the Patriots, and then I've been reading some things about the Chiefs are very interested in DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah,
By the way,
the Chiefs. I didn't hear about the Patriots.
The league cannot let Patrick Mahomes have DeAndre Hopkins. That just cannot happen, you guys.
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't
No
be
way.
very fair. But not for nothing, like you get traded to the Patriots, and Mac Jones is like suspect. So going, so I don't know. D Hop just trying to get the money.
Although
I guess.
all of a sudden you look at that receiving core. I mean, you got Juju there. Then if they pulled in a DeAndre, and then they got Kendrick Bourne. Like they have some guys there that I don't know. Kendrick Bourne's a good player.
He goes to New England, and this is going to be a telltale year for Mac Jones. That's what they're going to try and find out, whether Jones is their guy moving forward or not, because they go giving him Juju and DeAndre Hopkins to throw the ball to. They still have Hunter Henry there, and they got Mike Gesicki through free agency also. They get Hopkins. He's going to have the weapons, and if he can't do it with all them weapons, they're going to have
Has
to
had
say
those
goodbye.
weapons since Alabama. He had a lot of weapons at Alabama, and look what he was able to do. So that's a really good point. Like he's going into year 3, and usually that's when you start to see they either have a tremendous jump or
they go downwards. Yep,
or they go downwards.
True. What do we say? There's no staying the same,
Oh man. Well, I'm excited. So now we got done with free agency. That first big wave of free agencies happened. Now we're kind of starting to turn our attention to the NFL draft. Now we start to see some of these quarterbacks. I think CJ Stroud was out there today throwing. We're going to start to see some of these other quarterbacks at their pro days. But I kind of wanted to go over these quarterbacks. And, Drew, I know you're a busy guy. You got a million different things going on. So, you know what? I thought, Drew's in education. He's working with these kids. What should I do? I should put together a PowerPoint presentation.
Ooh.
And look what I got here. How
Wow.
about this? Look at this. All nice. I got a headshot there. I got some stats
beautiful.
up. And I was thinking we could kind of go through and talk through these. And Drew, you're a head coach now of a program now, and Slick, you're out there always catching the ball from quarterbacks. I want to know your guys' insight and profit. I know you've been watching football since before I was even born. I guess I'll just throw that out there.
I'm the only person that has an autographed Bible.
Jesus, who's this? I love it.
That's how old I am.
That's good. I like it. So we got. I brought up the top 5 quarterbacks. I don't have Hooker in here. I didn't get a chance to talk to you. I would have added one more slide. But let's just kind of go through these super quick, and then I kind of want to have some dialogue around, who do you like? If you're the Panthers with that number 1 pick, out of these 5 guys, who do you like? And obviously we'll start it off first with Bryce Young. He's had a really successful career with Alabama. My thing that is concerning for Bryce Young is he reminds me a lot of Kyler Murray around the size. He's 6 foot, which I believe is taller than Kyler Murray. Is Kyler Murray 6 foot?
Yeah,
Barely.
I see a lot. I think I see a lot of Bryce at 5'10" and a quarter, 5'10" and something. So
I think he's 6 foot in platforms.
That's what I was gonna say. There's no way. If he's 6 foot, I'm 6 foot. But we take a look at him. Obviously he had a really great career with Alabama. You look at his stats there, and I know, Drew, one of the first things that you look for is that touchdown to interception ratio. So what do you like about Bryce Young? Looking at his numbers, what are some things that you like about him?
So with Young, obviously you're coming out of Alabama, which is I don't know if there's more of a system in the country to help prepare you for the NFL than playing at Alabama as a quarterback. All right. There's a couple things that stand out to me about Young that I don't particularly care for. One, obviously, is his size. All right. Can we get around it? Obviously, we've seen it happen with with a lot of these QBs who are a little bit undersized. You kind of game plan around it, but you go back to watching Young this year with Alabama, and he struggled at times in some of these games. Like, there's some close games here, that he took part in, and he didn't have great numbers. Like, he's 20. They beat Texas early in the season by a point, where they're a heavy favorite, and he throws for 213 yards and 1 touchdown. He's not really lighting the world on fire there. Then you go and you lose to a good Tennessee team. But you still lose. You throw for 400 yards, but you threw the ball 50 times too. Like, how that's not going to happen very often. There was just times this year where I'm watching Alabama play, and I'm like, there's been years before where I'm confident that the QB at Alabama is going to lead their team to a win or a victory. I wasn't always that confident with Young back there, man. I don't think he's a bona fide, drop dead number 1 overall pick.
Ooh, all right. What do you think, Slick? When you see Bryce Young, I know that you watched him play quite a lot, and I know Prophet, feel free to chime in as well. I'm sure you watch a lot of SEC football on Saturdays, being in SEC country. What do you like about him? About Bryce Young? What don't you like?
Drew, you kind of sound like a hater, low key. I'm not gonna lie. Like, seriously, you kind of sound like a hater. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say that he's just gonna get to the NFL and be the next GOAT or anything like that. But college-wise, what did he not do? What did he not do?
I'm just going from a. Are you trusting this guy?
Yes.
When it's the fourth quarter.
Yes.
And you're down by 14.
Yes.
To bring you back and win the game for you.
He's done it and showed it numerous times.
He has done it, but
he showed it his sophomore year and he showed it his junior year.
There's been too many question marks with him. Too many hiccups in the.
Let me ask you this, Slick. So it sounds like you
not
really
to cut
like.
you off.
Okay, yeah, no worries.
Before all 5 top quarterbacks that you're about to show us.
Okay.
I guarantee you, they have shown hiccups as well.
100%. But you're not getting to. That's not the point I'm making. Maybe the point I'm getting at is that none of these quarterbacks deserve to go number 1. And maybe if you let me finish.
Oh, you were done. I didn't cut you off. You did.
No, I'm talking about when we talk about this whole quarterback conversation, not just Bryce Young. I'm you know me. I'm huge on the overvaluation of quarterbacks.
I get it. And as a receiver,
now is he the best in this class?
I'm a big guy too when it comes to evaluating quarterbacks, what they can do, what they can't do, if they got moxie, if the game's on the line, are they going to quit on you, which is going to have the huddle. I'm playing for him if I'm a receiver any day of the week.
Is he the best in this class?
Yes.
I didn't answer that question. I said he is not a drop dead number 1 overall pick.
You're right.
Okay.
You did say that. You did say
I will
that.
leave
But
it at
before
that.
you said that, you talked about all the stuff that
Yeah.
he didn't show you, but
Right.
numbers don't lie.
Let me ask you this. So, obviously, 2021, 48,000 or 4,800 yards passing, right? A pretty significant drop off from 2022 to 2021. And he didn't get hurt, right? Like he was out
No.
there.
Yeah, he was hurt.
He was hurt. He didn't play.
was?
He, didn't,
Okay.
he played
Yeah,
the
he was
season, but he
You guys
wasn't
were college
100%
guys.
healthy.
Okay,
No, he played the season, but he wasn't 100% healthy.
gotcha. Okay, so that's for the drop off there because you even look at the touchdowns from 21 to 22. Now he won the Natty in 21. No. Didn't Georgia won the Natty
Yeah,
in 21
he
and
did.
22,
Last
right?
year.
He did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that would be my biggest thing then, on him is, I mean, Alabama has been this powerhouse program for quite some time. Bryce Young couldn't get him over that hump, in 21 or 22 against it. I mean, Georgia's tough. Georgia's real tough.
Yes.
But we saw Tua do it. We saw Jalen Hurts do it, right? Now this looks
Right.
at Bryce Young. Do you think that he's right in that conversation? Or Mac Jones also did it, right? He won the national title for Alabama. So
Yeah.
when you're
I mean,
when you're
you say
comparing
what
him
hasn't
against,
he done?
what are you talking about? Like as
He didn't
far
win the
as
national
those quarterbacks,
championship.
Hold on. You're right.
would
he
you say
didn't.
he's the best one to come out of Bama out of those guys, or would you say that maybe he's like the third guy out of those guys,
Hold on. I'm gonna answer that
Out of
question.
who?
like
You're
Mac
right.
Jones,
He did
Jalen,
he
and
did
Tua?
win the Natty, but let's be real. The Georgia teams that we saw the last 2 years were better than the Georgia teams that Hurst, Mac Jones, and Tua faced. They were Georgia, but they were not the two teams that he's faced the last 2 years. So Georgia has gotten better every year since he's been there.
Who's the best Bama quarterback to come out in the Big Four in the recent? Tua, Mac,
Tua.
Hurts, Bryce Young.
I gotta say what
The
what
best
they've been calling
Bama
the NFL
quarterback,
right
not
now.
the best, not the best
Oh.
quarterback. That
Okay,
don't
Are,
take
are we
NFL out of it.
going? Are we going off of stats, or are we just going off
It's gotta
our
go.
opinion?
Just
I got to
Give
go
me
with
best.
Tua then. I got to
I'm
go
go-
Tua then.
It's hands down Tua.
Yeah.
I go either Tua or
And how
Hurts.
is and how is
Hurts
I
lost
mean,
his job though.
yeah, I mean,
Yeah, the next
Hurts
year Tua
transferred.
lost his.
it's
Hurts
Tua.
got yanked.
Hurt.
Yeah.
Like it went
Hurt
back and
too.
forth.
You know,
All right.
but
Okay,
how does
so-
that translate to the NFL? It's making my point. Tua hasn't had a prestigious NFL career to date. So just because you perform in at Bama doesn't mean you're automatically made for NFL primetime. Now you sit here and say the most successful Bama quarterback has been Jalen Hurts, and I think in the in the NFL, and I don't think you can really argue that. But he wasn't the best Bama quarterback, out of that group.
I give it to him or Tua.
Yeah.
No, I think he was far from the best. I mean, again, he got benched and transferred out. He went and played his final year in Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Because he wasn't going to get on the field.
Honestly,
I think it
When-
was
when
more
it
of a
comes
business
to-
move. He
Yeah.
was a three starter.
No, for sure.
It had
He
to be a
wasn't going to
business move
play,
because he
and
wasn't
he
gonna
wasn't
play
making the
back in the
NFL if he wasn't on the field.
no, that's
He went to Oklahoma and put up Heisman candidate numbers.
Absolutely. I
brought it
agree,
up.
Slick.
But he
Well, I
wasn't
mean,
gonna. He wasn't gonna play.
He wasn't going to play at Bama, though. So
You're right.
he
3 year start at Bama, went to Oklahoma, almost took my team to the. I mean, you still did
no,
what
but
he did in
the
college.
question was who was the best Bama quarterback of
I
the
say
four.
him or Tua.
But that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I don't know how you can say Hurts when Hurts got pulled
lost his
for
job and
Tua
had to go
and
to another. Yeah,
and then went to another school.
right.
That's
So-
all I'm saying.
I mean, when you're
Uh,
looking at that sample size, right? Like, I don't even know if he's the best one that's come out. It's been Tua. Obviously, we don't know what's going on with Mac Jones. He's going into year 3 now. Jalen actually put up a really good year to be considered an MVP candidate, right? So he's got a lot to live up to. But my biggest thing for him, it's just size. Overall, his size. That concerns me when it comes to the NFL. I know the NFL is protecting quarterbacks and things like that, but I mean, it really comes down
Larry.
to size. I didn't
I
say
think
it's
Brock
just
Purdy
about
is the
him.
best quarterback to come out.
Yeah.
of college ranks. And,
All right, let's move on to the next guy here, Will Levis. Okay, now he has
just keep
something
moving
about
on,
him.
BP.
He's had something about him. He's really scared of milk. I think it's just so strange. So
And he eats bananas with the pill on it.
What?
No.
Yeah. Yes.
No, he doesn't.
All right.
He's a banana
Get
with
this
the
guy
pill
off
on
the
him.
screen.
Go YouTube it.
I'm not
Bro.
doing that. Get this guy off the screen.
I'm scared of milk too. It's all curdly and like it looks like cottage cheese. Oh no, that's cottage cheese.
How are you drinking, Prophet?
I don't understand, Kay. I mean, so position rank 2. If you take a look at his numbers, like they're not flashy at all. 19 touchdowns to 10 interceptions, double-digit interceptions in 21 and 22. That right there, Drew. I know you hate that. I know you hate that touchdown interception ratio. So what is it about this Will Levis kid that has got people talking so highly of him? And Prophet, you were talking potentially the Panthers might even trade down and think about, or the Commanders might like him, or what's going on with
No,
this
that
Will
was
Levis kid?
Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay
is talking high on him. I guess really, if you look at it, number one is his size. I mean, 6'3", 230. That's a big quarterback. He's a pocket passer. He has some mobility, but he's not a running quarterback by no means. I've seen him play 4 times this year, and I'm not overly impressed with him. I don't know what all the hype is on this man. I really don't.
It kind of reminds me of you remember when Trubisky came out and everybody was talking about him. He had one good season.
Except me.
And like, oh, he
everybody
kind of do
except
that.
me. We weren't doing this podcast at the time.
We weren't. There's not a lot of things that jump off
Same thing
the
with
screen
freaking
with
Derek
him.
Carr.
I mean, he's got great arm strength. That's one of the things that the scouts been saying. Like, his arm strength's ridiculous. But other than that, like, I mean, look at his decision making: 19 and 10, 24 and 13. He turns over the ball. I'm just not. Yeah, he's a prototypical size, but that's not what all it comes down to playing quarterback in the NFL, right? So I don't know. Like, I'm just genuinely asking: have you guys seen something from this kid that I haven't, that has got him as, ranked higher than C.J. Stroud in this quarterback position coming to the draft?
I paid attention to him a few games this year. When he's in the zone, he does make you be like, but again, he does have his panic mode. So I wouldn't have him over Stroud, but I do understand why he would be in the top 5. Like, when he's in the zone, he does, like, he's a guy. He is.
Because of his arm strength and the thing that he can do, but
his arm strength, he can buy time, he can escape the pocket, and I mean, like I said, when he's on, but when he's off,
he's off.
Yeah,
it sounds like Rex Grossman. When Rex Grossman was on, he was on. But when he was off, man, you lose in that game.
Yeah,
the Bears are who we thought they were. Okay,
ain't no way in hell he would be above Hooker.
Let's listen to this.
Hurt.
It's a Saturday in late October. We got number 19 ranked Kentucky going into number 3 ranked Tennessee. We got the Wildcats primed for an upset over these Volunteers on old Rocky Top. We got the big quarterback, Levis, ready to win us a championship this year. We got him. We're going to get behind the big redhead, and he's going to lead us to victory. Oh, wait. He comes out and goes 16 of 27 for 98 yards and 3 interceptions, and they lose 44-6.
And
That's
Tennessee's
who I want to
sucked.
lead my NFL franchise. That's who I want.
Tennessee's
that's all I
was
would
bad.
see right then and there, man. That's
Get him
all I
off my
need.
screen. He sucks.
I did. We got C.J. Stroud up there.
All right.
Pay attention to the visual
like
aids.
him.
Come on.
Yeah.
All right, C.J. Stroud. This one, this guy's got me really intrigued. Now he's a sophomore, he's coming out as a sophomore, so he redshirted 1 year, 3 years removed from high school. 6'3", 218. You take a look at his Pro Football Focus grades, but the one thing I really like in the 2 years he's played, 21-22, is that touchdown interception ratio. I like that. 41-6, 44-6. Looks like he had a really good completion percentage in 21. Completion percentage dropped down in 22. C.J. Stroud, guys, what do you guys like about this kid?
I like a lot about this kid. I like his size.
Do you think he should be the number one? You think he should be the first prospect here?
I do.
I do. I think he's the first quarterback off the board. He should be the number 1 pick. The only thing I don't like is go back to, the only thing you could, point to is maybe the maturity level a little bit. He's young. He's 21 years old. But, dude, from a can you make the throw standpoint, he can make every throw that he has to. He can do it with his legs. I think he's the best quarterback in the class. There's my take.
Now, I heard from Prophet and I heard from Drew there talking about best quarterback in the class. Meanwhile, Slick was hella quiet. Like, so quiet, he's got his hand on his chin right here. Tell me, what's on your mind, bro? I see that look on your face.
Like I said, I put him at number 2. He played in the Big Ten. He did not go against SEC teams every Saturday. And that Northwestern game, I was there. He did not surprise. He didn't do what I thought he was going to do.
Mm.
That's
Hey,
why I
you
don't
got-
put him
you
as
made
number
it-
1.
you
I
made
do
a
like
great-
him in top
There was
5.
also
I
it
made
do
a
like
great
him.
40
point,
mile an hour
Slick.
winds.
And I
There's also
do think
40 mile an hour wind and cold, but
I was there in the regular raincoat. I don't want to hear that. And I'm from Florida. Not trying to hear it. Not trying to hear it.
so you just said the
Yeah.
conditions. You want to talk to me about
not
how,
trying to
you
hear
want
it.
to talk to me about during the season about Josh Allen, and you don't want to factor in conditions.
Oh,
You pick and choose when you factor in conditions now.
No, I don't pick and choose. What I'm saying is he's been playing at Ohio State for the longest. So
I'm just saying
it wasn't snowing.
Windy City is different.
You bring Slick. You bring up a
trying to
great
make something
point, which is why I say you throw out all his numbers, his touchdown to interception ratio, and all that. Playing in the Big Ten really doesn't mean that much. He's going against one, maybe 2 good defenses his whole season. The question is, can the kid make the throws? And this kid can make the throws.
Yeah, I think he can make the throws. I think based on based on the team and their pick, I think it could possibly go either way. I think he could possibly go first, be the first
Right.
quarterback off the board, depending on who needs what and whose system
agree.
fits him better. And same thing with Bryce Young. Whoever has that pick to get the first quarterback, if their system fits Bryce Young better versus Stroud, I think Bryce Young go first. I'm not against him going
I think
first.
they're very
I like
similar,
Stroud.
Rick. I think they're very similar, and you stand them next to each other, and it looks like this. And I'm like, oh, this guy looks like a quarterback more so than this guy. I'm going to take this guy. And
Me personally, I don't really care about the height. when
I
it
know
comes
you
to
don't,
quarterback.
but a lot of people
if you
do,
can play
and
ball, you can play ball. They've been Young's been
cannot-
that
you
height since
can't-
however long,
you
and he still
can't
got to the
sweep
NFL.
under the rug the ability to see over an offensive line. You can't.
Oh, I'm not
It's
saying that.
very difficult to play the quarterback position when you have to constantly be moving in the pocket just to see your windows.
I'm
I'm
not
better-
saying that. But what
you
I'm
better
saying
be a
is,
special quarterback if you're short.
what
Like
I'm
Young,
saying
like
is,
you said, Young and
like a
Breeze.
Bryce Young, a Russell Wilson, some of those Drew Brees, some of those smaller guys that when they first came out, oh, he's not going to be this, he's not going to be that due to the height, and he's not prototypical. Those guys have been doing whatever they've been doing as their whole life, and they got to the NFL level for a reason. It wasn't an accident.
Right.
So them being 5'10", 5'11", 5'9",
Yep.
that's not a challenge to them. They've
No,
been
so-
small their whole life.
But my point is, watch them play. It's a different style, and you have
It
to be able
is.
to fit that style. They're constantly moving.
It
They're
is.
not standing in the pocket just delivering balls. They're either on a half roll or they're on a play action, which is shifting the offensive line, or they're doing something different to kind of move the defensive line away from where the quarterback's at so they can see. So
Oh no, I agree
it's
with
gotta-
you on
it's
that.
got-
That's
definitely
why I
gotta fit the
said I
system.
feel like it depends on whoever has that pick, what system fits each
Yeah,
one.
correct.
Those I feel like that's how it would determine who would go first round. I mean, not first
agree.
round, but first pick.
Slick,
I
I'm
like
loving,
Stroud.
I'm loving the stuff you dropping tonight, bro. I'm loving the stuff that you're dropping tonight. Absolutely.
don't mess with his SEC.
I'll
Don't
tell you
mess
what,
with
you start
Slick's
talking about
SEC.
SEC.
But the thing about it, I'm more of an ACC fan, but I pay attention to all college football.
Yeah. So here's what I don't like about CJ Stroud. I'm just going to throw this out there, guys. This is what I don't like about him. Overall, yes, he can make all the throws. I will say when he's under pressure, he starts to get those happy feet a little bit. And he starts to kind of roll around. And he's been able to get away with it in college a little bit. It was the same. It kind of reminded me of Malik Willis a little bit when I was watching him, where he gets out of the pocket, and he's able to make a play. But I mean, it's not going to always happen in the NFL. Everybody's fast. Everybody can run down the quarterback. What I really want to see him is really just stand in there and deliver when he knows pressure is coming, and that doesn't always happen with him. Now, is that something that he can learn to do? Abso-freaking-lutely he can. He is, I think, and I agree with, I think, was it Drew said this one? I like him the most out of this draft class, quarterback-wise. I think he's got the size. Yeah, he played in the Big Ten, but I want to see him set his feet a little bit more and not worry about scrambling and trying to make a play downfield. Yeah, we get to see Patrick Mahomes do it on Sundays. We see Josh Allen do it. But you don't just step in the NFL and all of a sudden just be able to do that, right? Like you got to be able to hit your 1, 2, and 3s. I want to see him do that consistently. But overall, he's a pretty damn good player. There's a reason why he's sitting right there. Let's move on. Now this guy right here, now Slick. Oh, now he's got a lot of buzz from the combine, right?
I don't care about buzz.
Because of his 40, the way he was throwing against nobody, 6'4", 231. Tell me what you don't like about him, because there's been a lot of buzz around him since the combine.
It goes back to what Drew was
Why
just
is this
saying
guy on
about
the screen?
being a quarterback. Yes, he's 6'4". I think the reason why he has so much buzz, and the reason why people is boosting him up is because they're so infatuated with the what if, or what he could be if he gets the
If he does X, Y,
yeah,
and Z.
that's what I think that's what they're infatuated with. Because at Florida, he was an up and down guy. One game he'll come out and you'll be like, Heisman hopeful. Next game you'll come out and be like, is he a freshman all over again or what? Like,
Right.
What are we talking about? And it was consistently like that. It wasn't like 4 games he was good and then he'll have one iffy game and then he'll go back. It was back and forth. Like, no, he's not top 5 for me. I'll go hook over him any day.
Only 455 total dropbacks in his college career, so very limited experience.
Yeah, he should have stayed another year.
If ever, that's what I was just going to say, Slick. If ever there was somebody that needed another year of college,
Or
it's
2.
this kid. Yeah, and he has 2 available, right? But he definitely needed one more for sure. I don't get the buzz around him either. He's a great athlete, no denying that. I mean, he's super quick for his size. He showed that in the combines, but yeah, I've seen him play a couple of times, and I'm not at all impressed for him to be at the top of that list. It's terrible.
You guys remember Jamarcus Russell, right?
He's going to
Way
end
back
up
in the
being
day.
like him if he goes
That's
to
what
the
I
wrong
was just
team.
going to say. The guy has a laser for an arm, but it's the only pitch he's got in his bag. He doesn't have any of these touch passes. It seems like everything he does is a laser. And I remember Jamarcus Russell was that way when he came out of LSU. Everything had to be a freaking laser, and he was either overthrowing guys or he was hitting them so hard 5 yards away on a slant it would bounce right off their hands and it'd be a pick. So yeah, he's got tremendous upside, but yeah, like you said, there's a lot of what ifs. I'd like to see what he would have done had he stayed at Florida for another year, and quite honestly, maybe 2. What do you got to say on him, Drew? You were kind of quiet on this one. You said just get him off the screen.
I mean, you just said he got tremendous upside. How? Where has he shown that? You're
Well,
talking
I just mean
about
athletically.
Look at 50.
I just mean athletically, he's
You
got
say how I
a lot
like
of what ifs.
TD to INT ratio. All right, that's not there.
Nope.
The complete yards per attempt isn't there, and the completion percentage is 53%. Get him up next. I'm done.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. I think the reason why is
53%.
no. I think the reason why is that the combine, he ran a great 40. He threw the ball all over the place against nobody, and he's a tremendous athlete. You can't take that away from him, and that's where the upside comes from.
Yeah.
Like Slick said, there's a lot of what ifs, and there's too many ifs.
Like we
to
said
take
it a
him high
couple
in
weeks
this
ago.
draft.
You guys would have had the damn picture of me up there if we were going off the friggin' combines. All right, like, come on. Who is
All
this
right.
Tanner McKee?
Tanner
I've never heard of
McKee,
this
Stanford Cardinal. So he's projected to go in the second round, 6'6", 230. I don't know, guys. When are we talking about quarterbacks? I think it's really a top 3 class. When we start getting to this is guy's second round guy. Do you think this guy could potentially jump into the first round at all? Or do you think he's second rounder all day, every day?
If he
Never even
jumps
heard
into
of the
the
guy.
first round, I'm going to make sure I just put up. I'm going to send this emoji to you guys in the group chat. Somebody paid for it.
Okay. All right. All right.
I never even heard of this guy, and I pay attention to Pac-10, Pac-12 ball.
Well, I mean, you're out there in Florida. I mean, this guy's playing at 12:30 at night.
Yeah, I stay up. I don't have anything to do Sunday. I watch Pac-12 ball all the time.
There'll be a backup,
did he win the
there'll be a
Rose
backup
Bowl?
somewhere, Tanner.
Did he win the Rose Bowl this year or last
13
year? Or
touchdowns.
I mean,
I think he might have won. Was it? No, he didn't win it this year, did he?
no.
it
I
wasn't
don't
this
even.
year.
I didn't. I really did. It's the first time I'm seeing this name. Like, I don't know who the guy is.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
Not a good look for the Blitz. Next.
Overall, with
yeah,
him,
you really
I know
should have put an injured hooker up there.
I should have. I will tell you this. I know that he comes from pro ready, that he's accurate overall. But when it comes to what the type of prospects these other guys are, I definitely not it. But
He played in the Pac-12.
played in the Pac-12.
They play a lot of zone.
Man, a lot of
Thank
zone,
you.
he says.
God, that
Absolutely.
was, those last
You
two
okay,
were painful.
Drew? You okay?
No, those
You all right?
last two slides were painful. I'm sorry.
You want to talk about the McRib again, or?
I'm pretty freaking hungry right now. I'm looking forward to getting something to eat after this. And then going to bed.
Hot shot.
Yeah, hot shot. I'm excited for this.
Hot shot of the week, guys. All right. Well, Drew, since you're so ready, do you just want to make your hot shot the McRib or no?
No, no. I want to make my hot shot. I got a video this week.
All right.
Play-
Oh, you
pull up
got
the
a video.
video.
I got the video. Here we go.
My guy.
I love to fish. I'm a good fisherman too. My brother's here. Tucker's back there. My sister Sarah, my two siblings who I love dearly are here. My parents are not, as you know. I've talked about my dad and my mom passed away, but I love my two siblings.
The McRib's gone forever.
I'm trying to be
coming back.
serious.
So
DP.
I like to fish, right? So I can't wait to go fishing. Like I'm hoping, when this is all done, so we're gonna work and get better and use this and use the momentum we just created to make the program better. And then at some point, I'm going fishing.
Coach, go fishing. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
So that
All right.
and you guys
Explain
laugh. There's
yourself.
context to this, and you
Explain
guys
yourself,
have
man.
no friggin' idea. Like clearly you don't. That's Tobin Anderson. He's the head coach of the Fairleigh Dickinson Red Devils here in New Jersey, a little small school that has a gym about the size of 2,000. I've seen my high school gym is bigger than the gym that they play in, and they went and beat the number as a 16 seed, beat the number 1 seed Purdue in the opening round of March Madness. What that clip was after his second round game against FAU, who they lost by like 6 points, a heartbreaker. That clip, this guy starts talking about he likes fishing, and the story was, his parents, both of his parents had passed away and haven't been able. Dude, all I see right there in that conference was a coach who was just overcome with emotion that he didn't know how to handle because nobody expected them to be there. All right. And he goes out and every year there's a Cinderella story in March Madness. And this guy's just trying to find the words to say, and he's trying to keep it light. And he starts rambling and starts talking about he loves fishing. And then he tries to reel it back and say, we're going to do the right things for the program and make the program better. But I still want to go fishing. All this dude wants to do is just enjoy what just happened to him. And as a coach, man, I can appreciate that. And sometimes you can't find the words. You can't put a situation into words. And for him to be in front of millions of people after doing something that nobody has ever done and beating a 16 seed, that's what he came up with, man. And I appreciate it. And I think it was an awesome interview. And it's funny because now
I should ask for context.
In recent days, he left FTU and this led to a new head coaching job. So I don't know how much Iona. So I don't know how much fishing he's going to be doing, but dude, in that moment, like this guy wasn't prepared for this, and he's just a dude, and that's what I got from that. He's just a dude embracing the moment and living in it, and
that's cool.
He's overcome with emotion, and he says, "Dude, I'm just going to go fishing, man," and I appreciate that.
That's cool.
I really do.
That's
Drew,
super cool.
I appreciate everything you just pointed out, and I agree with you. That definitely was a big accomplishment. But the whole mumble deal and the facial expression, I'm sorry, it was funny to me. I applaud the guy.
Play that damn clip again now, knowing the context.
I wish we got the context, man.
everything
We
that
just
he
got done talking
did.
about the McRib, and all I had in my mind was the damn
I
McRib.
was still in laugh mode.
Yeah,
laughing
the
at
guy
the
looks
rib.
like Steve-O's dad, but like
Everything that he did, hey, hats off to him. But I'm like you said, BP, we're talking about the McRib. I was still in laugh mode.
I was
Yeah,
still.
Then this guy comes on the
you
screen and
screwed me
starts
by
blah, blah,
talking
blah,
about
blah,
the
blah, blah,
McRib
blah.
in the middle of my damn clip. You know what?
I love
I
it,
can't
man.
even get a hot shot of the week segment out without you guys making fun of me.
We weren't laughing at you, Drew.
I'm
We were
done.
laughing at you, bro.
Cut my
I'm
mic
laughing.
off.
Slick man, who's your hot shot of the week?
I got two.
This damn show.
I got two. One
McRib.
goes out. One goes out.
And Shamrock Shake.
One goes out to my dad, who just celebrated a birthday on the 10th, and
Happy
Happy
second one
birthday.
goes out to OG for being back in good health.
Yeah,
You know what
sir.
I'm saying?
Thank you,
My
brother.
hot shot goes to both of those guys. Two OGs.
Thank
How
you.
old's your pops, man?
I believe he just turned 66.
You're the same way that I am with my dad's birthday. I'd be like, "Happy birthday, Dad!" You know how old I am? Nope.
Well, the
Older
only
than
reason
me
I
is all I
still
know.
don't have a clue is because like him and my mom are 4 years apart, so I kind of keep up with her age more than his. But so I always know that they're 4 years apart, and his is the 10th and mine is the 6th. So I still don't know the exact number, but I got that. I got an estimate.
Oh, nice. Prophet, hot shot of the week, man. Who you got?
My hot shot this week. Well, this guy when he was born, his mom looked at his face and looked at his ass and said, "Oh, look, Siamese twins." But nah, in all seriousness, though, my hot shot goes out to Slinger this week. I can't say how proud I am of your son. Yeah, it just seems like with the baby, a new baby coming, the job, it just seems like whatever you're putting your foot forward to attempt, you're accomplishing in life. And me and your mother couldn't be more proud of you, buddy.
Thank you.
That's
Appreciate
awesome,
it.
man. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, we're definitely proud of you, man. Love seeing all the stuff you do with your bartending. By the way, you posted that picture. What were you, 22 years old?
Yeah.
Oh man, that was a
you know,
throwback. That
funny,
was nice.
Funny story about that picture. You know who took that picture? No,
Who's
you
that?
don't. What was the girl's name from Fitness First?
Nah.
Yeah,
Antia?
they came to
Auntie or whatever?
Antia and Nadine or whatever. They came to visit New York City or whatever, and they came down to the bar that I was bartending at.
Holy hell.
They took that picture. Crazy.
Damn, that's crazy. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man. Wow.
Small world, right?
That is a smart
It all
world.
comes full circle.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway,
All right. So yesterday was World Down Syndrome Awareness Day. Now, when I was in high school, we had a kid by the name of Russ who was our team manager. And it was the first time I was ever, I didn't know what Down syndrome was at the time. And, you know, talking with him, just getting out there, doing everyday life, just being so happy, just doing what he was doing. Well, there's a young man that this is kind of crazy, small world, social media, right? That my wife follows this account on TikTok. And it's this young man named Matt who he works at this restaurant. He just absolutely loves to, clear tables. He loves making coffees. He just absolutely loves it. He's full of life. So I'm going to pull up a clip here. He's talking to his mom, just getting ready for his day at work. And I just really want to recognize this young man because it doesn't matter how bad of a day I have or whatever's going on. I always watch these videos. My wife always shows them to me. She ends up talking to his mother, and they've kind of had a couple conversations back and forth, but he always brightens my day, just his outlook on everything. So I want to bring this up to you guys, and I just want to recognize him again. His name's Matt. He loves to he does 9 rounds of kickboxing. This kid, his nickname's the Beast. So here he is.
Going my pace, my swing, my pace at work,
Yes, you're back at work.
and so sun out, and it's a nice day, and maybe I'll have tips, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah,
It depends on what a good worker you are.
I am.
All right. Well, I think we should get in there and have you start pouring coffee and drinks.
For yours right now.
Yes, I need my coffee poured by you.
You want coffee or tea that?
I'm going to need some real coffee today.
Okay,
All right, let's go do it.
I.
That's awesome, man.
Wow.
And
He's
just want to
energetic.
recognize that young man. Just
a lot of
brightens up
energy.
my day, and the way that he goes and attacks his just puts a smile on my face. So want to give a shout out. My hot shot of the week
That's
is
what's
Matt.
up.
Congratulations,
All right, Matt.
man.
Good job.
That's what's up.
That's good stuff.
He definitely has a real positive vibe.
He does,
like,
doesn't he?
yeah,
Absolute positive
He's like
vibe
he
to
has a
him.
lot of energy. Like
That's like the coach that I was showing you. If you guys
He's
let
never
that
going to get over
out.
this. He's never going to
Play
get
my
over
quip
it.
again as we send off here.
no,
Do a little send off.
I'm a good fisherman too. I'm not. I'm like my brother's here. Tucker's back there. My sister Sarah.
But
My two siblings who I love dearly are here.
Oh, sorry.
My parents are not, as you know. I've talked about my dad and my mom passed away, but I love my two siblings.
Good night, all.
It was just like the wrong time, man.
It was
All
at the
right, we're
wrong
out of here.
Screw you guys and your McRibs.
We'll see you guys next week, man. Can't wait.
wrong time. Oh man.